guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Neji. I'm so excited to be talking to you guys today because this is my very first YouTube video. So please subscribe, like and share with your friends, as this video will be helping a lot of newcomers who are coming to Canada for the first time. Um, I have been getting so many questions about life in Canada, so I decided to share my experience as well as give you newcomers some tips that could help them when they arrive Canada. So a little bit about myself. Um, I am from Nigeria. I studied economics in Nigeria. I graduated in 2010. I worked for some time till 2014 before I arrived Canada to study business management international. So I arrived Canada in December of 2014, and unfortunately for me, I arrived in the winter time. So the first thing I want to be talking about in Canada is the weather. So it can be extremely cold during the winter time, and sometimes there could be like snowstorms. Because unfortunately for me, I arrived in on the day I arrived Canada, there was a huge snowstorm. So it was kind of a disaster for me. So one of the first tips I want to give newcomers who are coming to Canada is to avoid coming in the winter time. Secondly, what I want to talk about is the culture in Canada. One thing I noticed when I came to Canada for the first time is that Canadians like to smile a lot. So um, one of the tip I'm going to give to you is whenever you see them smiling at you, just smile back and that's it. Because sometimes I do have friends who have actually seen ladies smiling at them and then they misunderstand the smile and try to approach them, and unfortunately you get disappointed. So that's another tip I can give to you. um, Another thing I noticed is Canadians drink coffee a lot. So coffee is like a huge deal right here. So that's another thing I noticed. Um, Canadians are very welcoming people. A good example will be when I first arrived Canada and I arrived my school. Everything that was given to me practically that I use in furnishing my home was given to me for free by my mentor parents. So you will be hearing about mentor parents whenever you come to Canada, especially for students who are going to smaller cities. Um, Mentor parents are just people who actually just love to help newcomers in Canada actually settle down with ease. Next thing I want to talk about is studying in Canada. Oof, studying can be very stressful. Man, trust me, like assignments, projects, in-class assignments, everything will just be coming back to back. So one other tip I want to give to you is for the first week while you're in school, don't get deceived, because the first week the lecturers just come and they just, they want to talk and get to know you, like tell me about yourself and other kind of stuff. So don't be deceived by the first week. Make sure that you're always prepared, because from the second week and the third week the assignments and everything will just be coming back to back. So if you don't have good time management skills, it might be a disaster for you. um, Another thing I want to talk about is about the transportation system here in Canada. The buses will never wait for you, so you have to be there on time. I've had a situation whereby I was just like one step away from the bus and the door just closes and boom, the bus just zooms off. So you need to always be there on time, otherwise you might miss the bus and possibly miss your classes or miss work and all that kind of stuff. So time management is very important in Canada. If you don't have good time management skills, I'm sorry man, everything might just be happening so fast and you might not be able to keep up. The next thing I want to talk about is actually rent. Trust me, rent can be very expensive right here. So if you can find a way to eliminate your rent in this country, that will be so golden for you, man. It's really expensive. So I do recommend newcomers who are coming to Canada, if you're coming to study in Canada or you're coming through the express entry system, whichever way you're coming, I do recommend to start in a small city, because the advantage of starting in a smaller city is that the rent is actually cheaper than mega cities like Toronto. So for me, I studied in a very small city, so my rent was not too expensive. um, I actually had to share with like two of my friends, so it actually made the rent very cheap. It was a two-bedroom going for about $720. So when you divide that by three people, you'll be paying like 200 and something. So as a student, I do recommend starting from a small city, because there you can save a lot of money. It's easy for you to navigate the system. It's easy for you to understand how Canada works. and then it's also easy for you to keep up with your studies as well. That's for students. If you're coming in like as a skilled worker, I also recommend starting from a smaller city so that you can save money the initial period when you arrive, and then once you understand the system better, then you can move to like other bigger cities if you want. But for me, I actually decided to start small because I just wanted to save a lot of money. And then when I got to understand how the system worked, I finished my school. Then I relocated. Right now, I live in Kitchener, so I would say it's in between, like it's in between the high side and the low side. The next thing I want to talk about is racism. For me, I have to be very careful when I talk about this because it's a very sensitive issue. For me, generally, I'll say, around me, racism hasn't really happened that much. But whoever's watching this video, if you're in Canada and you've had such experiences, I will appreciate it if you can leave your comments below and share your experience as well. For me, I think I've only had like 3 experiences when it comes to racism. The first one was I was walking on a walkway, and some ladies were approaching me, and the moment they saw me, the way they just left the pathway, I kind of felt bad about it, like why would they do that? So that was my first experience. The second one was while I was in school. I was in a lounge because the schools usually have like a lounge where you can relax, during your break time, play ping pong and, games and all that kind of stuff. So I was tired and there was a couch there and I was just going to take a seat and just relax a little bit. And there was a lady sitting down there and she had her purse on the couch. So the moment I tried to sit down, she just rushed and took the purse and, she made it look like I was trying to steal the purse. The third experience I've had was one of the places I worked. I'm not going to call the name. Um, I noticed that whenever I try to ask my manager a question, she didn't give me the same response that she gave to other people. So sometimes she just keeps yelling at me. Uh, you know, I just kind of felt like some of the actions that she took towards me were kind of, I felt like harassed, kind of, So it got to a point, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to take it up. One of the things I noticed about the companies here is they do not tolerate discrimination or anything that has to do with racism. They take it very, very strict. So if issues like that come up, they will be willing to work with you to make sure that you don't feel bad about it. So that experience, the head of the department actually called me, tried to talk to me, asked me if I needed to take some days off, and whenever I feel better I can come back, and if I needed my department to be changed and things like that. The companies will actually work with you because most majority of the companies do not tolerate racism. um, the next thing I want to be talking about is working experience. For me, I've worked in like multiple companies in Canada, and some of them I liked, some of them I did not like. So working can be very stressful because sometimes you wake up in the morning, you have to rush to work, and it's like the whole work just takes everything from you, and you don't have time for any other thing. Like people here don't really have time for their families and things like that because you have to work to be able to pay your bills. Fortunately for me, I've been able to grow over time, and able to quit my job, and now I work for myself. So I'll also be doing some more videos as well, to let newcomers coming to Canada to know, there's some things you can do on the side to be able to make some money, and then if you feel you're confident enough, you can quit your job just the same way I did. So trust me, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be putting some useful information that can help newcomers coming to Canada, and especially like students who are actually coming to Canada as well. It's very expensive, so if you can learn one or two things on the side to actually supplement your income or actually help you pay your bills, that would be great as well. So that I will be doing for you guys. That's it for life in Canada. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon. And if there's any other questions you have for me, please leave that in the comment. Thank you very much for watching. Neji once again, signing out. Peace.